It's your boy Poe Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Poe Rowe and What's the Numbers I providing. Today we back with another profile piece. This was on Corey Scott, aka Young Classik, and Earl Barranco, aka HoodRich. And the situation between them was supposedly they started off as business partners, as friends, getting money together, to eventually having a falling out over one feeling the other one behind his back to have business dealings, and they felt they was owed a piece of that, to having a head-to-head confrontation at the Good Stuff Diner in Lower Manhattan after the club one early morning in October 2010, to where they say that HoodRich ended up shooting Corey Scott, aka Young Classik, dead in the spot. We're going to take a little deeper look as far as like try to bring us back to what was going on, what was the vibe out on the streets at the time, and what happened, and what's going on, the outcome of everything, and what it stands at today. So, back in 2010, they saying this was all over some type of bank check fraud, where they was going into the bank, into the check cashing spots, had a teller that was in cahoots with the whole scheme, and they was busting, cashing checks and walking out with cash on top of cash on top of cash. So, if you know anything about the scamming world, it's a big hustle, especially in the urban community. It used to be drugs and sports, which those are still things that's going on, but scamming is also a big thing because, younger kids, they didn't want to keep selling crack and going to jail for $10 bags or having crack on a person and getting searched by the cops. So they started, putting their mind and seeing different hustles, and the scamming was one of them. A lot of kids started being computer savvy, and that's when you see 21-year-old, 22-year-old kids getting money that making more money than your average, your local big drug dealer. And this is real facts. So this was a big game. A lot of kids started messing with this game, and you could make a lot of money. So in 2010, it was even easier. Now it's a little hard. They cracking down in it. You can't even, you bust a check, you got to put the check through the ATM and wait for half the money a day for it to clear. Or people getting locked up trying to bust checks with the teller walking out. This is a different loss prevention in the stores on everybody. It's a different game. They on it, right? Back then, not so much. You could really go and bust. That's why you hear scammers talk about, oh yeah, I made $100,000 in a week, $30,000 in a day. They talking about the heyday back in the good days when you could walk into 3 different spots and bust 3 checks and walk out end of the day before pay everybody. You still got $27,000 on. You understand what I'm saying? It was back then. That's what they talking about. So this is the time that we in. This is when Classik and HoodRich was doing theirs. They was getting their money. That's why in the videos that you see of them together on YouTube, they in Benzes, Maseratis, Ashanti rims, all types of stuff, Gucci down, money, 5,000, 10,000 cash on them, because this is what the time, this is the environment, this was the vibe in the streets, this was the mood out there. Now it's hot. You doing all that, you hot. There's still some people doing it, but it's not as much. So back to the store, they getting money, they doing their thing. So like I said, the scamming is not a game where people are quick to put you on. You understand? They'll bring you into the loop to use you, to have you be a runner, or to have you got the connections. All the girls that work in the spot, or the manager of this store, or this. They'll use you for that. But I'm not gonna bring you in and show you how to make the check, or show you how to make the pieces, or show you how to get the Bitcoin. They're not gonna show you all that, because then what do you need them for? You understand what I'm saying? So let's say Classik is giving HoodRich the checks. Let's say he's charging them $500 a check, right? He might not be making the checks, or even he is, but he might be getting them from somebody else. So HoodRich around him enough to a point where he either figured out how to get the checks, make the checks, or figured out who he was going to get the checks from. So now instead of paying him $500 a check, he only charging $100 a check, $200 a check. So I'm going to him around your back, but it's not really around your back. I'm just going to him, and that's what Classik felt the way over that. HoodRich was doing his own thing basically, and not piecing him off, not giving him his $500 every. You understand what I'm saying? Because you could do 10 checks a week. That's $5,000 if you paying me $500 for every check. You understand? So that's how you gotta look at it. So now, fast forward to the night in October, early morning. After the club, everybody likes going in. If you ain't got no action lined up, or you ain't got a situation, or you ain't drunk to the point where you just gotta go home, people get hungry and want to go eat. So Good Stuff Diner is one of those spots in Lower Manhattan, because they got the clubs all on the west side and all that. So Good Stuff Diner is a spot that everybody go to. A lot of people go to after the club, and that's where HoodRich and his crew was in, chilling in the back eating. Where they say they got it on camera with Corey, aka Young Classik, walking in the spot with whoever he was in the spot with, going to the back to confront HoodRich. Some type of altercation occurred to where they say HoodRich backed out, went for the gun and shot Classik in the back. They say he was like trying to get out the spot or whatever. He got shot, but we do know he got shot in the back and got touched 3 times in the back, twice in the head, I think. So, like I said, I heard it was all over $500 that he was getting $500 a check or whatever. He owed him. He felt like he owed him for that, and that he had some type of altercation. I heard it was a little physical with Classik getting the best, but Classik's a big dude. HoodRich isn't a little dude either, but Classik is a big dude, more known to use his brute force. You know what I'm saying? He got locked up before for basically killing somebody with his own hands, even though he beat that charge and all that. But he's just a big guy, more known to put, throw his weight around. So supposedly it got physical. He was getting the best of HoodRich. HoodRich went for the gun. Classik tried to get out of there, and he shot him and killed him. So is that the case? I don't know, but we do know he did get shot in his back and in the back of the head. So obviously he was trying to get out of there when he got hit. So after the shooting, Brooklyn streets, that's Brooklyn. That's a scamming world. So everybody's talking about it. It's all on camera. So before no time, the police are looking for HoodRich. He get low. He try to get low. He go to North Carolina, but for some reason he ends up at a Charlotte Bobcat game. Now, while he's at the game, there's some random dude proposing to his girl, and the camera pans in on that, focuses in on that. Who goes walking by with the same chain he had on when he killed Classik? HoodRich. You got it. So somebody sees him on the jumbotron, like, oh snap, I know him. Either it was a girl, I believe. I don't know if she's the one who contacted the police or she contacted somebody else and they contact the police. But somehow the police were alerted that he's in North Carolina, attending Charlotte Bobcat games, and they start staking the games out. And who goes to the next game with the same chain on again? You got it, HoodRich, aka Earl Barranco. They snatch him up, extradite him back to New York. And this is where he ends up, basically, starting the court proceedings. Now for the murder and all that, and the bank fraud, because they end up getting indicted for the bank fraud and everything. The case that they end up getting for the whole fraud case that they were doing, they end up getting indicted for that. Well, he ends up getting indicted for that with a few others. Now he comes back and he cops out to 10 to 15 years. He cops out to manslaughter in the first, criminal possession in the weapon in the second, conspiracy in the fourth, and grand larceny. So he cops out, takes his time, goes up north for about 10, 11 years, and now current day, 2021, about to be 2022, Earl Barranco's back home, he's back in Brooklyn, back doing his thing, back in the clubs, iced out, so that's the story of HoodRich and Classik, straight out of Brooklyn. So I just wanted to touch on this topic because it's a big topic, as far as like people starting out as friends, working together, making money, business partners, having a falling out to one of them losing their life. This is the first time it happened. I'm pretty sure it won't be the last time, but it's still, snaps a moment in time back in those times where a lot of people was getting a lot of money, and Classik was known, and he was known because he was running around with a lot of people. He was with the whole Slow Bugs movement when it first started, running around with Big B's, running around with different people, trying to get, riding that little club industry wave, messing around, running jewels and all them sluts. He was trying to get an industry type, being in those circles, I don't think he rapped anything. He was just in those circles, getting money. Usually you find yourself in the same circles as different people, rappers and entertainers that was, getting money at the same time. If you gain that type of money, you find yourself in those circles. And he was rubbing shoulders with certain people, and he basically got killed by his man, or somebody who was his man at one point, over him feeling like he was slighted over some business dealings that wasn't, he wasn't a part of, man. And that's what happens, man. Sometimes you gotta know when to just, you can't keep everybody under your umbrella forever, man. You gotta let people live and breathe, man. You can't really just try to extort everybody, man. But anyway, I'm not here to go in on that tip. But yo, this is What's the Numbers TV, man. It's your boy Poro. I'll be back before y'all know it, man. Just keep an eye out, keep a lookout for something new. I just had to sit back, figure out my approach. But I got it all figured out now, man. Yo, but I'll be back before you know it, man. I'm out of here. Peace.